Hello everyone, it's Jamie here. Now, before we get into the actual episode, apologies, I've got a request to make. All of us at the Smart 7 are really excited. Over the past week, we've been nominated for 4 different awards, which is just a huge, massive achievement for all of us. But one of them needs your help. We've been nominated for a Signal Award. We are up against some absolutely terrifying competition. Would you do me a favour? Would you just go to thesmart7.com? That will redirect you to the voting page. It'll take literally 1 minute of your day and could make the world of difference to us here. Thanks very much.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Tell me about your mama's kitchen. That simple question opens up a flood of delicious memories, and it's at the center of my new Audible original podcast called Your Mama's Kitchen.
My mama's kitchen was chaos.
This teeny tiny little room was where we did everything. We grew up there. We became teenagers, adults in that small space.
I'm Michelle Norris. The kitchen is usually the heartbeat of our homes. It's the place where we're nourished physically and spiritually. Our loudest laughter is in the kitchen, but so too are some of our most vulnerable moments. Each week on Your Mama's Kitchen, I'll talk to guests, actors, authors, chefs, musicians, and more about how the food and the culinary traditions of their youth shape their lives in interesting and sometimes surprising ways.
On today's Smart 7, rumour cuts to the HS2, a rollback on net zero, and lots more. It's Monday, the 25th of September. It's World Dream Day, and happy birthday, Will Smith.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
The government's in hot water over the rumoured scaling back of HS2, which is grinding the high-speed rail line to a halt. It's thought the northern leg of the line from Birmingham to Manchester could be scrapped entirely in an attempt to save around £35 billion. And while nothing's been confirmed yet, PM Rishi Sunak is due to meet with Chancellor Jeremy Hunt this week to discuss the project's future. It's expected they'll make an announcement before the Tory conference starts on Sunday. Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham isn't happy.
Why is it that people in the north are always forced to choose? Why are we always treated as second-class citizens when it comes to transport? This was the Parliament when they said they would level us up.
Last week, Labour's Nick Thomas-Symonds committed to building HS2 in full if they were elected. But Labour's Shadow Treasury Ministry Darren Jones seemed to be a little bit more cautious about that on Sunday.
We are supportive of HS2 being built, but we're not going to make decisions about national infrastructure projects without all of the information being available.
Jürgen Mayer from Northern Powerhouse says that without the Northern Leg, HS2 becomes a massive waste of cash.
We would end up with the most useless and most expensive piece of high-speed line in the whole of Europe. A small section of high-speed 2 going from Birmingham not even to London, costing an absolute fortune.
And if the HS2 drama wasn't enough, this weekend also brought the news that PM Rishi Sunak is considering slashing inheritance tax. It's been dubbed Britain's most unpopular tax, but it only applies to estates worth over £325,000 and affects just 4% of debts. It follows a week of criticism for Rishi after he delayed some of Britain's climate targets, but Defence Secretary Grant Shapps says it's all fine.
We've been moving ahead, way ahead of the rest of Europe. We have not only met but exceeded our first carbon budget, our second, our third, on track for the fourth and fifth. We're now working on the sixth carbon budget, which takes us through to 2037.
The net zero rollback is proving so unpopular that Greek economist Yanis Varoufakis says it's almost extraordinary.
Well, it takes a very special combination of incompetence and cynicism to manage to unite the car industry and the Greens against you. And Rishi Sunak has demonstrated that.
Ukraine is intensifying attacks on Crimea following a successful long-range strike on Russia's Black Sea Fleet last week, which damaged their headquarters. It comes after US President Biden promised to send Ukraine more long-range missiles known as ATACMS on Friday, and it's clearly irking Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. He's been speaking at the UN General Assembly and says Ukraine is a puppet on a string in a Western war against Russia.
The fact is, the West are the ones actually fighting against us, with the hands and bodies of Ukrainians. I think everyone who is even the slightest bit interested knows very well that the Americans and the British are the ones fighting.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian First Lady Olena Zelenska has been talking about her efforts to get more Ukrainian books translated and published worldwide during the war.
This is one of the ways for us to demonstrate who we really are. Culture is also the area of the battlefield. We see that the occupiers want to destroy our culture.
She shook Congress with her January 6th testimony, and now former Trump loyalist and presidential aide Cassidy Hutchinson is releasing a book detailing her journey to disenchantment. It's called Enough, and it's full of new bombshells, including an allegation that Cassidy was groped by former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. It's her first television interview. She says she was torn about telling the truth after January 6th.
I felt torn a lot of the time because I knew what I knew and I wanted to come forward with what I knew. But at the same time, I didn't want to feel like I was betraying them, and I didn't want to feel like I was betraying my colleagues.
So to come on Smart 7, Red Bull are big in Japan, and Paul Mescal's got Romans on his mind.
Right after this. Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
New activation and upfront payment for 3-month plan required. Taxes and fees extra. Additional restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for full terms.
Welcome back.
Red Bull Racing have won their 6th Constructors' Championship and 2nd in a row, following yet another Max Verstappen win in Suzuka on Sunday. He's on the verge of winning his 3rd consecutive Drivers' Championship after claiming victory in Japan with an almost 20-second margin. And he looks set to officially seal the title at next week's Qatar Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Red Bull's win marks the earliest point in an F1 season that any team has claimed a championship, and Red Bull principal Christian Horner seems delighted.
It's the collection of an incredible effort of everybody doing their bit to achieve results like we've done, and of course, Max is just on another level at the moment. So today was an incredible performance.
If you've been on TikTok recently, chances are you've seen the trend where women ask the men in their life how often they think about the Roman Empire. Spoiler alert, it's a lot. Well, Amelia de Moldenberg of Chicken Shop Date fame was interviewing Paul Mescal, who's just wrapped up filming for Gladiator and decided to hop on the trend.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
I would say in the last 6 months I've been thinking about the Roman Empire quite a bit. But
other than that, it's a no.
I would say my dad thinks about the Roman Empire daily.
Really?
Yeah.
Daily?
When Doctor Who first launched in November 1963, the Beatles had just released their debut album. Everton were top of the league and Kennedy was about to be assassinated. Now the beloved TV series is celebrating its diamond anniversary with a 3-part special, which sees David Tennant and Catherine Tate making their grand return as the Time Lord and Donna. It'll be back on the BBC this November and the trailers just dropped.
I don't believe in destiny, but if destiny exists, it is heading for Donna Noble. After a very long time, something's coming back.
Who are they?
Monsters.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Tell me about your mama's kitchen. That simple question opens up a flood of delicious memories, and it's at the center of my new Audible original podcast called Your Mama's Kitchen.
My mama's kitchen was chaos.
This teeny tiny little room was where we did everything. We grew up there. We became teenagers, adults in that small space.
I'm Michelle Norris. The kitchen is usually the heartbeat of our homes. It's the place where we're nourished physically and spiritually. Our loudest laughter is in the kitchen, but so too are some of our most vulnerable moments. Each week on Your Mama's Kitchen, I'll talk to guests, actors, authors, chefs, musicians, and more about how the food and the culinary traditions of their youth shaped their lives in interesting and sometimes surprising ways.